Oh, hi, I'm Jim McGuire. I'm back with my story now. This is the second story. It's about Vietnam. Now, I was never in Vietnam, but I was in the reserves, Marine Reserves, and I was stationed statewide. And that's what happened to me, anyways. I was in the States. This is a story about paratroopers in Dak To, a famous battle in 1968. There's about 150 paratroopers who were up there in January, and they were on a search and destroy mission, and they were surprised and attacked by a battalion of North Vietnamese regulars, 650, and it was a terrible battle, terrible fight that went on a couple of days, and the paratroopers took a terrible beating and killed casualties, things like that. They really got hurt bad. So this particular story is about the Sergeant Richard and about 150 paratroopers, maybe more. They went up there to help them to get the dead and wounded out and to drive them off. So they went up there, and jet fighters went up and helped to drive off the North Vietnamese soldiers. So our story opens, this particular sergeant, he's in the jungle there, and the battle is over, and he's sitting there checking out his M14 and different equipment. And he just sent 3 of his men up the road, about a mile up to a monastery to get some water because they're out of water. So he's just, waiting for them to come back. And he says, boy, in 20 minutes they got to get back because the helicopter's coming in. And when they come, you got to be ready to go. And they're not going to wait around. So I hope they get back in time. Yeah. So he decides to go out on the road to take a look. So he walks out on the road and he looks up where they would be coming. And all of a sudden, this North Vietnamese soldier steps out of the bushes. And he's a young man with dark hair, no helmet. And he has the red emblems on his shoulder. And he has AK-47 holding it. And right away, the sergeant just opens fire and mows him down. He doesn't even hesitate. And as he's falling down, a big beam of sunlight comes down and shines up as he hits the road, and dust goes up into the air. And he goes over to look at him, and he's gone. He's dead. And he wants to just get some kind of ID on him or what other papers he might have. So he's looking around, and as he's looking for the papers, doesn't a picture fall out? It's a picture like an 1.5 inch picture of a young girl and this man, and she's leaning up against his arm like this, smiling. That kind of thing. And so I just, I'll keep this picture now as a memory of what happened today. Yeah, I'll just keep this and put it in a utility jacket. Well, the men came back with the water, and they got on the helicopter, and off they went. And you know how life goes. They all went to different missions, and eventually Sergeant was discharged. He survived the war. And he went back to Chicago, and he started working for a stationery company. He just liked that. He'd be outside in the field. He'd have like a school bag of all kinds of things that he would sell. Like he'd make an appointment for someone to meet him at a diner. He'd have business cards, all kinds of stationery, really nice pens that he would sell people. And whenever he was in a diner, just sitting there waiting for people to come, he'd open up his wallet and he'd see a picture of his wife and he got married, his wife and son and daughter. And right away on the other side of the wallet was the picture of the girl. Leaning up against the man who he shot and killed. And he always wondered, whatever happened to that girl? I wonder whatever became of her. And this has been on his mind a long, long time. It happened in '68, and it's now 1984, and his wife knows his great concern for this. So, the Vietnam War was built in Washington. It was dedicated in January of 1982. So, about 1984 or 5, the wife says, listen, I got an idea. Why don't you make up a large picture of the young girl and the man, soldier, and write a letter and put it in a kind of a plastic envelope where people can see, and we'll go down to the wall and we'll leave it near the paratroop section who died that day. He said, that's a good idea. Yeah, we'll do that. So they go down with another couple, they go to the wall, and he writes a letter like, I don't know exactly what it would be. It was, dear young lady, I'm sorry I killed this man on such and such a date in January of 1968. It was during the the war, and I did it because that's the way war is. And I'm sorry. And I often wonder what became of you, and I hope you're okay. I hope I meet you someday. That kind of a thing. That I left it at the wall. So, time goes by, and about a year or so goes by. He never hears anything. Nobody ever contacts him. So one day he gets a call from his friend who's in another part of Chicago, and he says, "Hey, Sergeant, they made a book about the memorabilia left at the wall. Yeah, they published a book, and you're in that book on some page 70, whatever it is. Yeah, you're with the young girl and the man, who you shot and killed. Yeah. Oh my God, thank you so much, thank you." So he runs out and he goes to Barnes and Nobles and he looks it up. He sees the picture of himself, actually the picture of the young girl and the soldier and the letter he wrote. And he says, "Wow, now everybody knows. Oh my God." So time goes by, another year goes by. We're in the middle of the 1990s now, and there's no more contact. Nobody contacts him. So the wife has a great idea. She always has these great ideas. She says, "Listen, I got an idea. Get that same letter, the same picture, 8 by 10, and we'll send it to a Saigon newspaper, Ho Chi Minh City. That's the new city now. And maybe they can pass it around to other newspapers that you're looking for this person. What do you think of that? Hey, that's a great idea, yeah?" So they mail it off, and Sergeant is really wondering if something might happen now. So about 3 months later, there's a guy up in Dak To. He just got married. He's a young man, about 23, and he's opening up these gifts. He's in his little apartment up there. Everything's modern in Dak To now. It's all kinds of apartment buildings. And he's opening up these gifts his mother sent him. They're like coffee cups and tea cups, and they were all wrapped in newspapers. So he's opening up different ones. Oh, there's a teacup, that's nice. And there's a coffee cup. He opens this one, and it's a big plate. And he sees the wrapping, the newspaper. He sees the picture of the girl and the soldier. He goes, "My God, that's Lynn Lee. That's with her father. Yeah, 1968. Yeah. Oh my God, look at that." And the guy's name is there, the sergeant. So he says, "I got to go and see her." So he tells his wife. He's all excited. He gets on his motorcycle. He goes up to where she lives, about 10 miles up. Shows her the picture. Oh, she's so excited. So excited to meet this guy now. This is wonderful, she says. See, according to some Vietnamese legend, it seems that when a soldier is killed in battle, the spirit of the man who dies somehow enters into the soul of the man who killed him. So they look upon this paratrooper as a very special person. So anyways, she starts writing to him and they call and things like that. And they start communicating. And so finally, she wants him to come over, with his family to visit her and her family. So they set up a date, Thanksgiving. I think it's somehow in the middle 90s. And he heads over with his wife and daughter. They land in Ho Chi Minh City. And they get on a bus. It's a good ride up to Dak To. It's about 8 hours. But it's one of those modern type buses, And he's going up there. He sees the roads are very dusty still. All the memories come back when he was there as a soldier. He sees the farmers out there harvesting the rice in the water, with those hats, like flying saucer type hats, And it all comes back. It's a beautiful day when they're going up there. So finally, they get up to this area, and they have to go up to the top of the hill to where the village is. And he gets up there, and he gets out of the bus with his wife and daughter and a couple other people. And this guy comes out of the building. He's dressed in a white suit with some friends. He's the mayor of the city, mayor of the town. He says, "Oh, Sergeant, good to see you. How are you? Thank you for coming to Vietnam. Thank you." "Oh, thank you so much. Yes, it's nice to be here." "Well, you're probably looking for Lynn Lee. Well, she's right down there by the water hole. See her? In the white dress and the white hat. She's with her friends and family. Come on, I'll walk down with you." So they start walking down. You say, this is really something. So he's walking down. I forgot to tell you, he took that picture and he blew it up into a big, big picture of the girl and her father. And it's all wrapped in paper. It's all wrapped in brown paper. So he gets down there. He walks up to the young girl. And he says, I'm the sergeant. Oh, I'm Ling Lee. And they hug and all that, it's a big thing. And she's crying. And he said, wait, I got you a present. So she opens up the picture, gets the brown paper, she sees her and her father, and really starts crying now. And he's trying to hold her up, because she's sliding down. And, well, anyways, the sergeant is very happy that he went there. Well, anyways, that afternoon they went to the gravesite where he was buried, and there was a nice ceremony. And it was really wonderful. Then they went and had a big dinner after that. And I think he stayed for another day or two with his wife, seeing the sights and sounds with the family. And as far as I know, to this day, they're still writing and keeping in communication. And that's the story of the sergeant. Thank you.